I'd rather have that than be bored all day, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yep.
Any day.
I saw that. Do you need
Uh-huh.
Yes, please. Yep. Oh, my bad. Thank you.
Let me go get a paper because I like to take notes.
Good.
Yeah, well, it's Eleanor's. I asked her if I could borrow it. And I feel like, if I'm going to tell other people they need to carry one, then I can carry one too. So, well, the mint is covering it.
Oh, okay.
And you, yeah.
I know.
Yeah, you have
I need an agenda.
Hey guys. You're all in.
Okay.
Oh, I know. It's all
I'd rather have more than less.
Hey, good luck. Hey, I'm just telling you. I'm telling you. There's gonna be a few hugs before you get out of here.
I did want to Yes. Yeah, so just tonight.
Good afternoon. It is my pleasure to call the Peoria Public School Board of Education meeting for July 14th to order. Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Costick. Mrs. McConnell. Here. Mr. Ivory.
Here.
Mrs. Rose.
Here.
Mrs. Ross. Here. Dr. Wilson.
Here.
We have 7 present.
Thank you. Would you please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Point of order. You forgot to acknowledge the new board member. Didn't ask. Sorry.
I pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we actually did that at the last meeting, Larry. Oh, did I say aye before I wasn't supposed to, or?
It's okay.
Oh, okay. Cool. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, thank you. So moving on, we have announcements. We will start with Mr. Ivory and go in order.
7 mindsets. PPS is starting in 2025, 2026, year with our first mindset. Everything is possible. This mindset encourages students to dream big, believe in themselves, push through their challenges, and remember that with the effort and determination, everything is possible. Let's make it a great year.
Read 30 minutes a day. School starts Wednesday. Don't be late. New adventures await. Sharpened pencils, fresh new books, smiles and laughter, eager looks. Let's learn, grow, and chase what's true. A bright new year for me and you. Read just 30 minutes each day and watch your skills grow in every way. With open hearts and minds so clear, here's to a great 25-26 school year.
Is that for the list in School starts at once.
I don't know. Okay, so that's for Valeska Hinton.
Vice President McConnell?
Oh, I got a bunch of no. Okay. Immunizations and physicals are due by the first day of school. If you're not completed by October 15th, your child will not be allowed to attend class. Please schedule an appointment as soon as possible to avoid any issues. Thank you for doing your part to keep our schools, communities safe. First day of school, reminder, first day of school for Knoxville Center students will be Monday, July 14th. First day of school for Valeska Hinton Early Child will be Wednesday, July 16th. And all other schools will start Wednesday, July 30th. IB program opens. Peoria Public School is proud to offer the International Baccalaureate Program IB Diploma Program. This is an academically rigorous 2-year program and prepares students for college and beyond. Why choose IB? Challenging coursework recognized by the top universities, up to 22% higher acceptance rates at elite colleges. It focuses on critical thinking, leadership, research, global understanding. Application dates: open August 1st. Application deadline is November 3rd. Parent info night is Wednesday, October 1st. If you are ready to take this next step, visit your school counselor starting August 1st to apply.
Backpack Peoria. Backpack Peoria is happening July 26th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Dream Center. Free backpacks and supplies for all kindergarten through 12th grade students, plus 800 clear backpacks for middle and high schoolers. Enjoy 35 plus resource booths, free physicals, dental checks, haircuts, and a grilled lunch.
Good evening. Wraparound Center. Excuse me. Are you or your family in need of support this summer? The Wraparound Center is here to help. Located on the Latrobe side of Treewind K8, our center serves as a one-stop shop for families in the Peoria community, offering a variety of essential services. What we offer: therapeutic support, food pantry access, case management, housing guidance. The Wraparound Center is open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Whether you are in Peoria Public Schools family or a member of the broader community, we welcome you to stop by or call us at 309-282-1919 for more information.
Good evening. Grants open. Applications for the PPS Foundation and CFCI classroom grants are open from July 1st to September the 1st. Peoria Public Schools teachers and staff can apply for 3 grant options, up to $1,000 for classroom projects, $1,500 for STEM, grades 5 through 12, and $500 for field trips. These grants help bring creativity, hands-on learning, and real-world experiences to students. Apply at www.ppsfoundation.org. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Final announcement we have: clear backpacks are now required for middle school and high school students by October 15th. A limited supply will be available for purchase at school offices for $20. Tinted or frosted backpacks are not allowed. I would also like to take the time to acknowledge our boards here. To my right, we have Elise Ford Allen. And then over here to my left, we have a nice poster by Rich Woods. Moving on, we will go to district presentations. Actionable steps to help stop school shootings at Peoria Public Schools. Dr. Karat, Demario Boone, and Jill Lamont.
Thank you so much, President Dr. Greg Wilson. I'll tee it up for the team. We have some, actually Jill, are you on online. We have some representation from Evolve as well.
Jill is on. She said that she's still in the waiting room.
She's in the waiting room. Cami, who has access to that? Can we get her out of the waiting room?
It'd be Michelle's job.
Okay, all right. Okay. Can you tell Michelle what you wanted to do? Because I will start off. And so we have some representation from Evolve, and then of course, Director Boone has done a lot of that legwork. So I'll go ahead and tee it up. One of the things that I really love about my district, our district, what I love about Peoria Public Schools is that we are always so very proactive with everything that we do to ensure that our students and staff are well thought out. Again, with every decision that's made. And so today's presentation is an example of that. As President Dr. Wilson mentioned, actionable steps to help stop school shootings. That is a very hot topic throughout the United States. I was with 75 superintendents over the weekend, and actually Jill was the keynote speaker. That's what everybody wanted to talk about, school safety. And so it was really surprising because I was not really expecting her to be there. So again, for us, school safety, that's really important for our students' well-being and academic success. So our principals came up with this, they were introduced to this solution, Evolve, and did a lot of work. They did a lot of work, investigated it. They worked with Director Boone, piloted it, and said, hey, this is a game changer. So they've been nudging us, Director Boone, Dr. Coleman, and myself, about ensuring that we're able to bring it to the table. So with that said, is Jill available to help? Awesome. So Jill, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? And I know you have a presentation, Beyond Thoughts and Prayers, Actionable Steps to Help Stop School Shooting. Jill is, she's the Vice President, Lamont, Vice President of Education, and she is also the former Assistant Superintendent of Oxford Community Schools, where her school district experienced a mass shooting. Is that correct? So
Yes,
I'll turn it over to you.
Can everyone hear me okay? I just want to be sure.
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for inviting me. And I'm sorry I wasn't able to be there in person today. As Dr. Karat said, I've been doing quite a bit of travel. And while this is typically my more academic presentation, I did think that it was something that would be valuable and time well spent for your board, for your broader community, and so did Dr. Karat. And so there's quite a bit of data in this presentation. We're going to skip through most of that pretty quickly, just because I know we're on a time crunch. But I did want to just tell you, I'm bringing to this entire sales cycle and all of this work that we're doing at Evolve, really a mission first attitude. And that's the main reason that I came to this company and left my career in public education after experiencing the worst, was that I wanted to be a part of the solution. And if we can move on, I can't actually, there we go. So we know school shootings in the United States are a constant concern, and we know that our teachers are worried about them. And I have plenty of data here from the new FBI report that just came out actually at the end of May 2025. It was just published, looking at active shooting situations across the country, not only in schools, but also in other public places. And so we find that, helping our students to know how to respond to a potential active shooter situation or any kind of violence is actually becoming a life skill. It's something that we need to do to help prepare them to be good citizens and to protect themselves in public spaces. And if we move on, that FBI data actually shows the majority of those school shootings were in open space. This slide right here shows you that the majority of these shootings, while I did experience a mass casualty incident, and we hear a lot of news media that surround these horrific mass casualty shootings, what's much more likely to occur, and the data suggests this, is an escalation of a dispute, meaning that your students who have no intention of harming others bring a weapon into a school, And because they are young, because their decision-making skills are not completely developed, because they have that access, what could have been a fist fight quickly escalates into something much more heinous and much more dangerous. And you see that in 72 of the most recent 300 school incidents. They were not planned attacks. They were not targeted violence, but they were these escalations of dispute where a weapon was readily available to a student who used it. And I do want to, I know we wanted to keep this very brief, but there's some more of that FBI active shooter data, just showing you that the majority of these were insider threats, meaning that the majority of these shooting incidents were actually coming from someone who either worked at or attended and otherwise needed to be at these locations where they saw the violence across the year 2024. And that's to include schools. Yeah, we'll go skip through these quickly. And what I think is interesting in this data is that while schools did not have the most active shooter events, they had some of the fewest, they actually did have some of the most casualties. What does that mean? This is one of our most vulnerable populations in the country, our children and our students and our staff who are really trying to operate in what we would hope to be a sanctuary environment of our schools. And how do we maintain that culture and climate and really help them to feel welcome in their buildings, while at the same time maintaining the security necessary to keep them safe? It's a very difficult balance to strike. Yeah, let's skip through this, please. I know we have to be brief today. And I did want to just, on that last slide, it shows that 1/3 of our secondary teachers across the country experienced an incident in the last school year that was gun related. And so we're asking our teaching staff and our paraprofessionals and our food service and transportation workers to go to work every day with that anxiety about gun violence. That's not a drill we're talking about. That's an actual violent incident that caused them to likely fear for their lives and certainly fear for their students who were in their charge during their school day. And I was asked specifically to include this slide. I wanted to show you, I never want to take what happened to us in Oxford, Michigan and use it to sell, but I am using it to educate. These are just a sum, not an exhaustive list, of our security measures that were in place before having experienced a violent incident. I say that because these are some of the best practices across the country in terms of school safety and security, and it still was not enough to stop a weapon from getting into our building and ultimately taking 4 children from us. Yes.
Hey, Jill, not to cut you off, but I think you skipped over a couple of slides. I understand being brief, but when we're dealing with school safety, we definitely want to make sure that we get all the information. I think I could speak for every board member when I say that. So if there were slides that you were skipping over to be super brief, I mean, you can go back over them so that we get all the information.
I appreciate that. I'll actually keep that in mind moving forward as I get to more pertinent school data. Thank you for that information.
Yep, no worries.
Just trying to be sensitive to your timelines as well. I have all night. And so when I show you these different ideas here on this slide, what you might notice and what I want to call your attention to is that many of these items on this list are in response to violence. What would we do if we did experience violence, as opposed to in violence prevention? And so I think that, one of the main reasons that I personally came to Evolve it was to make sure that I was part of the solution to prevent violence as opposed to respond to violence. There's certainly a place for violence response, and I'm very grateful that we had the training that we did when tragedy did strike. But I wish that there were more bullet points here of things that we could have done to keep weapons out of our schools. These were some of the key takeaways from that incident, and this is really the crux of my entire presentation. So I would ask just for your forgiveness to spend a little bit of time on this slide. I think it's probably one of the most important. And it really has little to do with Evolve, but it has to do with safety planning. What I want you to hear from me is that safety is not a thing. It's not a destination. It's not a safe period. It's a constant, comprehensive approach to a layered security plan. You saw some of those layers on the last slide. What else did we learn from Oxford? We needed better multidisciplinary threat assessment teams. That is to have the voices of many different individuals with multiple perspectives when we have a student situation. Better record keeping of those assessments. Who can access what? So if we have a mental health screener, can your counselor see that? Can your teachers see that? What about administration? And how long does that follow a student throughout their academic career? Will we know at the middle school, for example, that they had behavior issues at the elementary school? And how do we make sure that those items follow a student in a way that's not trying to be futile, and not trying to harm them in their future, but to help us have a big picture with many different pieces to it to understand these complex children. We did have security cameras, a very robust surveillance system, and it was used forensically. So the question was, who's watching the cameras during the school day? Who can access those cameras in the event of an incident? We said we never wanted to be without a security member on our campus at all times. And then this may be the cheapest and easiest item to implement, but we heard was the most impactful on the day of our tragedy, which is to have door numbers on not only the outside and exterior of the building, but also mirrored on the interior of the building. Why is that? You're likely to have first responders coming to your building who may not be familiar with your schools, and the person who's inside can easily speak to that individual who's responding outside to tell them where to send help. And that really made a difference and an impact on the day that I mentioned. Sound systems outdoors, making sure that if you have a mass notification system, everyone can not only hear it, but also see it for our deaf and hard of hearing students, and also for those students who have earbuds in, which might be a majority of kids in our secondary schools. Bathrooms are a very difficult place to lock down. So if there's an opportunity to hide anywhere but a bathroom that is safe, that is a lesson learned for us. Thank goodness I mentioned about violence response. Thank goodness we had training for so many individuals in that building that day. We heard heroic stories of students, of substitute teachers, of multiple other staff members who knew the plan and knew what to do. Thank goodness. That certainly mitigated the impact of that violent incident. We did not have extremely realistic plans for our administrators, as 4 out of our 5 principals that day in our elementary buildings had their own biological children at the high school. And so expecting them to stay in their buildings and keep their post was sort of unreasonable. They went, and I think their immediate thought was they needed to take care of their own children, and they did. They went to the high school. So is your emergency operation plan very realistic for predictable human behavior? And then having federal and national support. There are plenty of different agencies and groups that you can be working with proactively. I'd be happy to share some of those. One that comes to mind right now is PASS, which is Partner Alliance for Safer Schools. They do have weapons detection guidelines, and we help to create those with other groups, with competitors actually, to come together to try and keep schools safer. And there's some other different violence prevention centers that I can suggest to Dr. Karat as well. But again, we came to those after the fact and not in a prevention stance. I did become aware of the company post-incident, and I will tell you the vendor response after experiencing a shooting was really grotesque. I was still in active lockdown at the high school, and I was receiving probably equal parts texts from family members concerned for my well-being, knowing I had been in the district for over a decade. And the other half of those messages were coming from complete strangers trying to sell me something. Very, very disheartening. And like I mentioned, sort of disgusting. I met Evolve a different way. A parent actually brought them in weeks and weeks after the tragedy, and they donated their systems to us. And I became aware of this technology. What I didn't know before the incident and immediately after was that there was something to do that was not simple metal detection. Our community, we had polled our community and asked them in response to what happened if they wanted to implement metal detectors. And the answer was pretty loudly no. They did not want to do that. They wanted to do something, but they knew it wasn't that. And I was really grateful to learn about Evolve. I actually was not aware of this technology in my role prior to the shooting. And I know you've all had an opportunity to learn quite a bit about our products already. But we do some things that no one else can do when it comes to school safety. And again, I want to be very careful. It's not a perfect solution. Nothing is by itself 100% effective, but it's an incredible layer to add to what you're already doing that is fantastic in the district. And we've been able to learn more about. Did you want me to stop at all for questions, Dr. Karat, or just keep going through?
Do you have any more slides, or is that it?
I do have more slides.
Yep, so keep going then.
Okay. So we wanted to make sure that understood that we're looking to minimize the number of false alarms that go off with our system, and we're trying to really show your security operators where to look. Why? Because I want to minimize bias. I want the people to be able to do the people things, to make eye contact with your kids, to welcome them into the building, to say, I'm so glad you're here today, and to notice if their head is down or if they've been wearing the same clothing multiple days in a row. This is an opportunity in this morning screening to really do a safety check, a wellness check on your kids. And let's let the technology do the majority of the actual weapons screening. And if we can minimize the number of false positives on the machine, then we can minimize the amount of time that we're spending, number one, keeping the students from their educational environment, but number two, helping them to feel better as they're walking in. There's something to be said about the way that we feel when we enter a learning environment, and that's a very important piece when we're planning with our technology. This was a video that I think you've already had access to, and I'll make sure that I send along. It's not live. We can continue. But as you see on the right-hand side there, we have what's called a red box threat resolution. So when I said that it's helping to minimize the amount of false alerts, it's also showing you, as a security operator, where to look. So I know I've been through multiple different types of screening processes, and many times individuals will scan a person and say, oh, it must be blank, must have been your belt, must have been your cell phone, must have been your steel toe boots. And those are easier systems to thwart than being able to see on an image aided alert where precisely to check on an individual. This also helps to minimize the amount of time that we are searching individuals and minimize the invasion of privacy on your students. So instead of having to check every bag and all of their belongings and their entire person, when an alarm goes off, you can check only where that red box is located for the potential threat. Our hope is then to help streamline that morning entry process so that we're getting students safely and quickly into the learning environment. And then a big part of that would be our expedite system, and that is to put the students' bags and belongings quickly through that system, which is looking at the image with X-ray technology and then using AI to determine whether it's something that is potentially threatening in that bag. We're looking for firearms. We're also looking for larger tactical knives and potential shrapnel and other explosive devices. Yeah, and I know that we've talked a little bit about product. So this is really for those high clutter. That's a way of us saying in a school is really a high clutter environment, meaning kids bring a ton of stuff into the building. To be perfectly honest, we began with our technology at stadiums and other venues where adults typically gather. And most of those places have bag policies or have very minimal, items that people are bringing in. Schools are very different, where kids have to bring a ton of things and, athletic gear and band equipment and all different types of things into school each day, along with their own personal belongings. This is our answer to that high clutter environment, still trying to maintain a very efficient throughput, trying to get students quickly and safely into the building. And so I've already gone through most of these, but in addition to efficient entry, we're also looking to add that layer. And I mentioned we are trying to minimize that bias. We're trying to let this system, which does not see people or faces, it sees shapes and it sees things. So let that system make the decision about what appears threatening. And again, let the people get back to connecting with kids, which we know is incredibly important to any school safety posture. And these are just several different news stories of our system working and it being able to stop potential threats, including firearms. I think all of these are firearms that we're looking at here on this slide. I can send those individually to the board if that's helpful. And we are implemented right now in Metro Nashville schools, and they were able to find 3 guns within the first week and a half or so of implementation across their campuses. So we were grateful to help them, again, in the wake of their tragedy at Antioch High School. Highly emotional environment and a place that we're really proud to help protect. And I talked about that welcoming nature. It's important that our kids feel good every day, not only just for the sake of it in and of itself, which we want schools to be a feel-good place, but there is data that supports that positive culture, that positive climate actually leads to better learning, better maximizing of learning goals, but also lower crime rates, less violent behavior, and a significant decrease in those behaviors that can get kids in a lot of trouble, and that includes feelings of belongingness, bullying, all of those different pieces and parts of a culture and climate within your building. We are hoping to add to that. We are hoping to bolster that inclusive environment and that welcoming feeling. And I always want to share this. This is one of our larger school districts in North Carolina, and I have permission to share this with boards, which is to show not only how many weapons they found after implementing our system, which I think is an important metric, it's the point, but also perhaps an unexpected and very positive outcome is that they estimated between years 1 and years 2 of them putting in our system at all of their high schools, they estimated 35,000 instructional hours were regained. Why is that? Because students were less likely to bring in any items that didn't belong in school. And so any of those prohibited items that can lead to single-day suspensions or even worse, expulsions, they saw more time with kids. They saw more time in instruction by implementing our system. And I thought that was an important data point to show. There are other positive outcomes that we see across the country when schools really do implement our programs with fidelity. And I'm sure that Dr. Crott has mentioned that's something that we would do alongside you. We have what we call a white glove service. So no district is alone in this. There will be a team of us, likely some of my colleagues who are there tonight and perhaps myself, to come and help with implementation and ensure success in those first few days as your staff is learning alongside your students. And I always want to end with this, and this is, I believe, my last slide, which is that every technology that you could be looking at, could help to bolster that security posture, could be fantastic, including ours and especially ours. But we cannot forget how important relationships are. And the 2019 U.S. Secret Service report said the number one way to avert a violent incident is to have a single trusting adult relationship. And so one of my favorite things about this system is the system doing the weapons screening and the technology doing the technology things. Well, the people get to do the people things again and connect with those babies coming into your building every day. Hopefully that was quick enough. I apologize. I tried to be as brief as I could.
Yeah. So thank you. I'll call up Director Boone to wrap it up for us. Thank you, Jill. I loved as it comes up, the multi-layered approach. That's what I was trying to say in my introduction earlier. Director Boone, you've done a lot of work on that, working with Jill and Jared, and you can introduce the 2 young men that's with you and then what you've learned in the process as well, and anything else. Thank you.
Yeah, just kind of to echo what she said, really that multi-layered approach is when I started here 9 years ago as director. That's the direction that we were trying to go and be, more proactive in prevention. And I think this is just another tool, I guess, in our tool belt to be proactive in that prevention. But I could also introduce these 2 gentlemen to come up here and give some words about Evolve and how it'll fit in our district.
Hey everyone, thank you, Jill. That was great. My name is Jared Bryant. I'm the local account executive that's been working with Dr. Crott, Dr. Coleman, Chief Boone through this process. I was here when we actually put a system in your school, tried it out at Richwoods for 4 days. It was great to see the progression. You guys do a lot of good things here, so it was nice to see a school that was embracing keeping weapons out of schools already and just trying to find a way to help make this process less painful for the students. And as Jill said at the end, give that instructional time back that they can never get back in their day. So thank you guys very much for the consideration. And this is Brandon.
Yes, hi, Brendan Boyce. I'm the regional sales director for our central region at Evolve. So I work closely with Jared, supporting him and other members of his team in his territory here. So I wasn't here for the demonstrations, but I worked closely with Jared, learning about what your plans were and how you implemented it and how the improvements happened over a multi-day deployment. That's one of the things we talk about, is that our system does great things, but where the real strength comes from is how your team works with that system. We talk about how once the system is deployed, we want to see improvements in the flow of students and how well your people are reacting and moving the students through and engaging with them. And from everything I've heard and speaking to Jared, it was a fantastic experience and improved greatly in a very short amount of time.
Thank you. Board members, questions? Ms. Brenda?
Hi, I was wondering, is there a grace period at the beginning of, it's a 4-year contract where we'd be leasing your equipment. Is there a grace period in the beginning of that if we had some issues or something arose and we decided this wasn't for us, that we could, is there a window of time, or was the test at Richwoods the window?
The pilot is that window.
That was it.
Once we move forward with an agreement, there isn't a pilot or a grace period, so to speak. We move forward with the activation of the software and moving it forward from that. But that's what the pilot was set up to do.
Okay, I'm not done. I was thinking about how tech is such a fast world and things upgrade quickly. So with this being your equipment, and I assume it's very expensive by the cost here, but
Yep.
if we had issues, you would be responsible for fixing if there was a defective equipment on one of the schools.
Absolutely.
You guys do the maintenance, but my biggest thing is if there's upgrades available where the technology gets better, and I would assume if it's more coverage or you added more, you would probably be asking us to pay more. But if there was upgrades to what we have, what we're picking, would you guys be doing those upgrades as we lease the equipment, or would it be every 4
Absolutely.
years? So as things change and they get upgraded, you will upgrade?
The software is constantly connected and will be upgraded. We make periodic updates to the software.
So you're just going to be doing it in an ongoing way?
It is as a service, absolutely.
And then will you be telling Chief, will you be communicating with Chief Boone, like these changes are gonna happen, so you might see this
You
red light
receive a
come on?
notice that comes down to the tablets that says the new software release is there. You have to take steps to activate it, and what that release contains and what it will be doing and why it was released will be made absolutely available to you before downloading it.
Okay, and when you do those upgrades, we still pay this price?
Absolutely.
No, okay.
Yep, it's all right there.
All right, I
It
think
is
that's,
completely as a service. It is white glove. We are taking care of everything during the term of that agreement. So any type of warranty item, any type of break fix, we will come on site and working closely with the partner with Beck to resolve any issues that come to light.
okay, thank you.
Just a few more questions. So how long was the test period at Richwoods?
It was for 4 days. We set up Monday, I don't remember the exact date. We set the system
What
up.
was the dates of that test period? Was it in April or either May?
It was in May.
Like the beginning of May or the end of May? The middle of May. And then, so the data, we saw a presentation in our last meeting. We didn't get the data as to what your equipment rendered. And in that test period, did we have the iPad so that we could see the actual system working?
Yes, so the way the
So
system,
can you, right, so do we have that data as to what you saw?
We sent the data, board. Did you receive the data?
Yeah, on Friday, July.
Did you receive the data?
On Friday, no. I mean, I didn't do it because,
Director Boone, you sent the data, right? Because I got it. Director Boone worked on, Director,
so one thing about, what were you, in terms of the data, when we roll out a pilot, one of the challenges is we don't get the chance to properly train and educate and communicate a new change in the process. So we kind of put it down and do it on the fly. So when the students come in and they have no idea what's going on, we have to kind of train them in that moment. So the data is, you do get the data on how many people come in. You can actually see down, you can drill down in our data and analytics portal down to 5-minute increments. So what you may know you have 1,600 students, but how many come from 8 o'clock to 8:15? Well, now you can have that data to see it in those 5-minute increments. So how that data is useful is it allows you to take what Chief Boone and his team and the principals know about their schools, and now you've got data to kind of back it up, to make little adjustments, to maybe understand some issues that you didn't realize were there prior to. So using that data tells you how many people were scanned and how many alerts they were, and then what type of alerts. So we didn't even get into, in Jill's presentation, the actual operational process that unfolds, but Those tablets on site have that data. You have analytics and portal data, and you can also get it sent to your mobile phone with the proper admin rights. So and that's ongoing. It's your data. There's even there's a lot of reports that you can push if you do a private event or a school football game. There's a lot of things we can talk through around the data and analytics piece. We have an actual portal separate.
The scope of my question was, when you did the pilot, were our SROs able to see the data in real time, or is this information that just came to us after the fact?
A little bit of both, but we didn't, when we do these pilots or these demos, we don't dig in. So on the tablet itself that's sitting at the entrance, you can see the data for that day. Now it's at a higher level. The granular, when you get granular with it, is when you're in the actual analytics portal and you can really start to slice and dice and understand it. But there is an element on the tablets of data that day. And there were a lot of people coming and going and admin, and so I talked about it quite a bit in the moment. But then so Monday night we set it up, did the initial training. Tuesday it was live and we were running when the students came in. After that day we did a debrief, and then I left. You guys had it out by yourself. Wednesday, Thursday, I came back Thursday night and then saw the Friday morning ingress at the same school at Richwoods. And then we had a debrief after that. We talked about a lot of things, just operationally. They shared thoughts, concerns, questions. We talked about the data, but we didn't dive deep into it. We do our own separate training just for the data and analytics portion. That's a good hour and a half for the proper admin level within your district. So we don't just give you data, we actually show you how to use it, talk through reporting, give you access, and there's quite a bit more to it. But
Okay, thank you.
Additional questions, Ms. Christina and Ms. Ross?
I just wanted to know two things. One, these metal detectors or gates or whatever you technically call them, are they easily portable? Like, could we take the one at Richwoods and move it to the football field on Friday nights? Okay, and then my second question was, nope, it's gone. Sorry.
So when you said yes to being able to move it to a football field, how easy is that though? Like, I mean, is that something that can be done quite easy? Simple process?
Yeah, absolutely. They're indoor, outdoor rated, and one person, once we teach them how to do it one time, can move it, depending on the distance and where it's moving from and to. It takes minutes to set up.
Okay.
It's very simple.
Thank you.
Yep.
Ms. Ross? Ms. Ross?
Thought of your second question? Okay. My question is, do you actually, are there options to purchase this equipment, or do you have to go on with a contract over 4 years?
There is an option to purchase the hardware, but the software would still have the 4-year subscription with it. So in essence, it would break it out between a front-end purchase for the hardware, but then 4 years of the software subscription. Most of our clients move with the full subscription for both units together, for both the hardware and the software.
Okay.
Additional?
Is it okay if I ask my second question? Okay. I'm sorry, I remembered it. You were talking about the trainings you do with the technology, and so is that built into the price that we're looking at, that you would train the SROs, Chief Boone's team, all the continually? Can you expand on that a little for me?
Yeah, so when we set up, we do a deployment where we come on site and we walk your schools and we walk through the concept of operations with Boone and his team and the principals to make sure that we're setting these systems up the best we can right out of the gate. So we do a thorough training train the trainer, but everything we do with our system, we try to take the human side and the process side and reduce the chance for error. So going back to the President's question about moving them, you don't have to know how to set up a system and actually tune it like, the metal detectors. You don't have to have someone come in and do it. Our system is designed to actually run its own calibration for you. You just have to know that when it's green and ready to go, you just give it a quick little test. But back to the training. So we do a full training on everything from how to plug the system in to moving it. Analytics portal we'll touch on, but we do a separate training a little bit later. from a preventive maintenance on the system, we come out and we do that, we schedule that out. But if you need additional training, and I'm available, I mean, I know my job is not to just be a trainer, but all my customers will call me periodically and say, hey, if you're around on Wednesday, we'd like to set something up. I can do that. But we do initial training, and then if you need more, we will find a way to make it right. If you have new staff, new people in place. And we have a document around that I can actually send you as well. But just know that we take our customer service very important. And if you need something, I'm not that far away. I live in St. Louis, so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Larry.
My question is that you mentioned that you had a pilot program for 4 days and at Richwoods. In those 4 days, did we detect any knives, any guns? Is there any numbers, or did we were there any examples of maybe something that we might have missed at that time and place? And my last question would be, are you under any litigation at this point in time with your system that you are aware of at this point in time? Because I think that speaks to if there's a problem, normally someone's suing you for it. So I just want to know if you're aware of anything out there in the system that deals with any legal issues that you would have had with the system for not detecting something at a point in time.
I could speak to the trial at Richwoods. We did not find any weapons during that time when we ran that program.
Okay.
Excuse me, Chief Director Boone, when you say, I'm sorry, I want to just dovetail on, when you say no weapons, does that include knives and
Knives,
things
guns,
like that?
we didn't have any of those
Does it?
during that time.
Okay.
And I would not be able to speak to any, not that I'm not aware or aware, but I wouldn't be able to speak to any pending litigation that is out there.
I do want to just mention, since I have your audience, there was an FTC investigation to the company. I think with any new technology, that's pretty common that something like that could happen, especially when you're disruptive technology like ours, that's really challenging the status quo in weapons detection. And we did, in that entire investigation, they never questioned the efficacy of the technology. So I'm telling you, every stone was turned. I was a big part of that investigative, team actually that came in and interviewed different individuals from Evolve, and we found that there were no monetary damages that they asked for from the company. They did a lot. Yeah.
That was the FTC investigation that was settled in the spring.
All right, additional questions?
I'm going back to feeling like if things wear out, so say we're 2 years in, everything's been going great, and Chief Boone notices that a certain machine just seems like it's acting different than the others, or we notice like these two high schools, it's sharper than it is at the other high school. Will you come give us a new one? Will you come replace that if it's slow or seems like it's not as...
We would have been investigating it to find out what the reason
So when you're
is.
doing the upgrades, you're keeping up on making sure things are working properly?
Absolutely. And if somebody highlights something saying, can we check on this? We have the telemetry to figure something out.
Okay.
If we're seeing anything, but then to come back out and test it. Look at where it's set up. Look at the particulars around the environment that could be causing differences
Right.
in that regard.
But if there was a defective product after we entered our 4-year contract, you guys would make sure that we have the right product?
If the product is deemed defective, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Any additional questions? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And moving along, we are now at item 6, presentations by audience. We do have two cards. Each speaker will be allotted up to 5 minutes. A tone will sound when the allotted time has expired, and speakers should conclude their comments. Thank you for following this procedure. Our first card is from Doug Shannon.
Good evening, Board. Congratulations and condolences to President Wilson and Vice President McConnell. Thank you to the Board, all of you, for your service. I understand how much time you guys invest in this for the benefit of our kids, so thanks so much. Yesterday on the parent school page, somebody posted kind of expressing some concerns. And within about an hour, we had over 40 or 50 different posts. So I'm going to actually share some of the posts and questions for the board as it relates to the Elite Game Changer program. I'll just be speaking in regards to it, not specifically for or against, but just sharing some of the community's concerns before finishing up with my own remarks. So, all right. So Acellus is the technology program. I understand that the Game Changer program uses for the kids. Some of the questions that the parents and teachers had is, if Acellus is congruent with the district curriculum, and is that program challenging enough for the kids? There are reports that students that return to traditional classroom because of a lack of congruence are behind. And so that was kind of the crux of that question. The agenda item on the, was given out ahead of the meeting today, says up to 50 students at a time. And so there were several questions from a transparency standpoint about that. It appeared to all of us that it's on a revolving or a rolling basis, not the same 50 kids year-round. How many kids were involved at in the program throughout the entirety of the 24-25 school year or 23-24 school year? Just some information on that would be great. What's the average length of participation in the program for a student was something that was asked. And what's the average number of students participating in the program on a daily basis throughout the school year? So do we sometimes have 10? Do we sometimes have 48? Where are we at as far as actual capacity in the program? Because obviously if we're spending $600,000, if we have 50 kids in the program the whole time, we're spending $12,000 per student. So there's a lot of questions about that, and there isn't a lot of publicly available information. Several teachers and parents expressed concerns that some of the kids acted out to get to participate in catered lunches instead of regular school food. Will the catered meals continue to be necessary in the program? That was a couple parents actually voiced that. I'm not sure how relevant, but that was their thoughts. And would it be possible for the RISE program to be an alternative program that would either supplement or internally benefit? So those are some of the parents' questions. I just wanted to share that because not everybody has the time to come address you all. Overall, I think, if we could guarantee that $600,000 invested in our kids would take 50 at-risk students, vulnerable students that are having challenges, that are having behavioral issues, I think we would all double down and say, if we could get 100 and fix those problems and help those children find hope, right? To actually engage in the educational material in the program, this would be a great investment. There's not a lot of transparency around the efficacy or the effectiveness of the program. So that's one thing for myself personally. I would just say, how do we track what we're getting from the program? How do we track if it's being effective? We've been doing this, I don't know how many years now, but this program has been around for a while. What data are we tracking? Are we tracking these kids to graduation? Are we tracking if some of them had legal issues prior or violence issues prior and there was no reticence from that? Overall, there's just a lot of questions as it relates to what is the actual impact of this program. Ultimately, it comes down to what's the benefit to the kids. Because the fact that this is Title I money is not an excuse to not use it efficiently. We could use it, on this program. We could use it another way. I don't have a specific issue or objection to the ELITE program. Just as a concerned citizen and as a parent in the district, I just want to know that what we're doing with this program or any other program is going to actually have an impact, because these are the kids that need the help the most. And so I thank you guys all for your time, and I look forward to hearing discussion, hopefully.
Thank you. And our next speaker will be from Mr. Charlie Thomas.
Okay, good to be back. New board member over there, welcome. Great job by him. I'm at that point too. When Game Changers Elite first came around, I was totally against it for a lot of reasons, and I soon learned that Mr. Carl Cannon is a great man. He's got so many good things he does to help kids, people at risk. He does great, but that's not really, doesn't matter who's running it. It's about what the outcomes are. And the first thing that pops in my head is the $50,000 raise. Having a hard time with that. They were at Dream Center, which I think they paid $40,000 probably there, or approximate for their rent or whatever. And great question about the lunches. The lunches to me were extravagant. Now, I'm one of the few people in this room that visited down there. I've been there when it was up and running. Dr. Crott remembers, I think Dr. Booth was there with me. I can't remember, but I went in there and watched it. And and I'm sure it's improved since then, but I walked into an area with a bunch of kids on computers and the certified sub teacher sitting reading the newspaper. Very disappointed with that, and I made that very clear. But that's a long time ago. They could be doing so much better now. I've not visited again. But when I heard they were going to Tree One, it concerned me. So that means now they'll be there, and I assume they'll have the school lunches. I don't think they're going to go into a rotation like we did at Woodruff. We had a great safe school at Woodruff that unfortunately had to be closed because of lack of enough personnel throughout the district before we got the teachers from across the waters. But are they going to be moving class to class? They can't lose that aspect of the learning environment. That's a big thing. Hallways? You got to be kidding me. PE, health, whatever else they need to do. So hopefully that will get done. The real bad thing is the average person knows it's already decided. I mean, I can tell you every board member how they're going to vote. I already know. And don't say I don't know, because I do know. You guys have already decided, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this on most things to get to this point. And I've known for a long time, it could be 5-2 tonight probably. It just depends. And a lot of board members have certain reasons for voting the way they do, which I will not get into, but it's out there. Just listen to the trees blowing the wind. That was pretty cool there. Couple other things. I'm going to shout out to Mr. Boone over here. He is an ex-student, and I just love him to death, and he does such a great job. If he backs this program, then we probably need to do it. He knows what he's doing. Shout out to custodians, because I know they're kicking butt right now, getting those schools looking great. We should praise them right and left. And one of the things on the presentation I heard said was relationships. I couldn't believe it more. My wife, who teaches still a few more years, she is the queen of relationships. Those kids love her and come back and see her. And one of my favorite things about being a teacher and a coach is when you run into ex-students out. And it's funny because I've had a couple medical things go on lately. And when I went to one spot, there was an ex-student giving me the scan. And then the other, my doctor's head nurse, I had her at Woodruff. So, that is so much fun to see those kids out there. Those are relationships. And you can get them many ways. I know some custodians have made unbelievable relationships with students. Everybody needs to be part of their relationships. And see, that's what bothers me about the board. The board right now is so set in their own direction, they don't look at the thing. I don't even know how this reached an agenda item with a $50,000 increase. How is that possible? What is the added expense they're going to have? I know Elite doesn't have Glen Oak anymore. Maybe that's part of it. But Elite in the schools, there's only one now. There's only one, Lincoln, one. And I think that's 3 personnel for $150,000. So I don't know all the numbers, and there's a lot of numbers to look at. And I agree with the last speaker. We used to get, Elite would come up and give a great presentation, and I remember it. They had this room full. And it made you think, this is going to be a great thing. It's going to be a great thing. Well, we don't see any data anymore, ever. You can't get data. All I know is I talk to teachers, and I will until the day I die. This kid went to Game Changers. How did he come back? Well, he's not so good. Then I hear later, well, he went back. And you know what Game Changers can do? The one thing teachers can't do is send them home. And that's a big advantage. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on, item number 7, response to audience presentation, Dr. Karat.
It's mostly the Elite program that we heard a lot about. It will be on the agenda for the board to vote. In terms of a report, we will get a report on Friday. I know we have something from Family Core and something from Children's Home, and we will receive Elites on Friday, and as soon as we receive that, I'll send that to the board. Okay?
Thank you.
That's my response in terms of the impact that they've made. And if any one of the individuals who spoke, Mr. Thomas or Mr. Doug Shannon, would like any additional information, feel free to send an email to me. I'll be happy to follow up with them as well and find out any additional information that's needed. So that's my response.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We are now at item 8, approval of July 1, 2025 minutes. It's been moved and seconded. Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Costick? Mr. Ivory?
Aye.
Mrs. McConnell? Aye. Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Mrs. Ross? Aye. Mrs. Wilson?
Aye.
President Wilson?
Aye.
We have 7 ayes, motion carries.
Moving along, we're at information items. Item number 1, Superintendent update.
Thank you. I'll be very brief. It was just teeing up the presentation for the board and the community and our audience around the Evolve system. I could live with a lot of things, but I do want, as superintendents under my watch, to ensure and make sure that we're continuing to make sure all of our kids are getting back home safely, our staff are getting back home safely. I like that we're proactive. I'm pushing the multi-layered, and the high school principals are also very serious about this additional support. Jill mentioned it's safer, and we really just streamlining the morning entry. I have seen when we first started, especially when we introduced cell phones, the cell phones slowed down that process. Director Boone and I would be at Richwoods, because you're talking about trying to get 1,700 children into school, and you have 30 minutes or less to do that. That's impossible. I remember saying, open this door, open that door, and of course we have to add more staff. We took some staff from his staff from middle schools, of course the middle school principals were not, so the domino effect, and that will help. That will assist with that as well. So knowing all of the adjustments that we've made, all of the hard work, the pivoting that we've done, this AI detection, and then I love the expedite component of it. I've never seen anything like that, and I've just traveled this weekend. We have to put our bags on that X-ray system, so every item will, and so in terms of efficiency, that will definitely fulfill that piece for us, which is lacking. It's not unusual that right now, last year, kids would miss first hour, whether intentionally or not just to kind of or hang around with their friends, but there will be no excuses. So we'll have the detection, the AI detection, and then of course, they should be in 20 minutes, 1,700 or so, right? 20 minutes or less. So, that is, I just wanted to share that we're doing the clear bags, which that's one approach. We have the SROs. The board was very proactive with ensuring that we talked about it in executive session. Dr. Greg Wilson, you said, Doc, make sure that every school has its SRO, and that's another approach. And so I just love all these pieces that we're putting together. As Jill said earlier, I heard her say, and we know when we're not going to be perfect, but we're going to do everything within our power to ensure that everybody's safe. And so I'm definitely encouraging the board members, each board member to support the Evolve action item. So that's my update, President Wilson.
Thank you. Any response to?
I was going to say, would you share about when the teachers come back in the building and the convocation and the start of the school year in a couple of weeks? Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President McConnell. We're really excited about convocation. I gave an update on July 1st. It will be the 28th. You're all invited to come. It should be fun. It will be at the Civic Center. It starts promptly at 7. 7 o'clock, if you want a book, there's a book sign-in that starts at 7. There'll be a lot of music. All the schools will be there. Actually, our teachers will be there. Our TAs will be there. Nurses, our librarians. I know, Director Boone, you have your own professional development for your team. Transportation has its own professional development for their team of individuals. But anyone who's listening, and we don't want to exclude anyone at all. There are 2,000 seats. It will be at the Civic Center, in the theater. Our partners, I see Family Corps out there. I see Elite. You're welcome. Our keynote will be Ron Clark. It's going to be a high energy, all around instruction. And we're on a mission. Our theme is Mission Possible, cracking the proficiency code. And Ron Clark is going to tee it up for us and just get us started with that. We're in a really, really good place. I had actually a meeting with my executive directors this afternoon, and they were like, Doc, we've never done this before. We're all aligned, we're all calibrated. Everyone has, they know what their goals are, what they have to do. They've worked with their leadership team, their teachers, around how they're going to go about doing it. I think we sent the board some common themes from the school improvement plans as well, a lot around writing, and they were asking for a writing framework. They've gotten that. So just a lot of strategies that they're going to use. And every school is different, and I like that they, with their staff, selected what they're going to do to move that needle and improve those proficiency rates on the state standardized. So that's what we're going for. We do well with growth, but we want that growth to be converted to grade level improvement. So and the board is invited as well. I think I have our president. I'm still working on it. I'll have you do some, maybe make some remarks. We'll feature our new union leadership in the back. We'll have a little slideshow going on. And then we'll also feature the Jeff and Tony. They've been, they've served the school district and PFT for over 10 years with me. And so we'll also feature them as well. Our student board members will be featured. Our partners, AMT, I wanted to thank AMT for helping subsidize the cost of Ron Clark. They gave a nice donation so that we could make it happen. So I wanted to thank them for that. And and then the kids come back on the 30th. Teachers come back on the 28th. And the bags, we have the clear bags. It's all organized. The schools have gotten their bags. And we do have some here for individuals, so parents can purchase. I know a couple of board members have already purchased bags. They're very sturdy. They're very nice. And it's personalized as well. It's $20. And we have some that are $11. And if we do, for some reason, we have individuals who cannot afford a bag. I got that question, and I told my team, just have them come up to central office, and we will give them a bag. So if we have some home students who are categorized as homeless, we've given schools bags for them as well. So everyone is, for the most part, is pretty much covered as it relates to that. And then I know the board said, Doc, we want you to make it, they don't have to be first day compliant, for example. And so the principals will work with, meeting with the principals tomorrow. We have a very big meeting tomorrow. Welcome back. And so we're excited about that. So we'll talk about those things as well.
Thank you, Christina.
Well, did you want to include the multicultural dual language ribbon cutting in your update?
Sure, thank you. And I sent that today. Yeah, that's right, because our next board meeting will be August 11th. Is that the 26th? The 29th?
The 29th at 5 p.m.
At 5 p.m. So thank you. Dr. Bond? Yep. So, and we'll make sure, I would love the board to be there, because actually then it's the board. I'm just here to provide support, but you guys will make some remarks, and I'll make sure you get an invite. Okay? And Glenn Barton, it will be August the 20th. You said that's because it's his birthday, and we'll notify the board as well before then.
For a ribbon cutting?
Ribbon cutting, yes, ma'am.
Barton. Thank you.
You're welcome. The 29th at the school. And I think they're going to have parades. They're going to have, they're taking it to the next level. I've never seen a ribbon cutting ceremony like that, but I said keep it simple, but
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so moving along, we have financial update. Mr. Mick Willis.
We are a mere 14 days into the fiscal year, so there are not a number of financial transactions to report on the revenue side or expenditure side. Be that as it may, through July 14th, revenue year-to-date totals $7.4 million. Expenditures year-to-date through July 14th totals $4.6 million. And that's what things are looking like so far, about halfway through the month. One of the things that you'll note on your report is that the budget column is blank. You'll recall we don't request your approval on the budget for 25-26 until September 22nd. The presentation and initial review of that will be made at your August 11th board meeting. Until we do have an approved budget, the budget column on this report will continue to be blank. And just wanted to remind everybody of that. Happy to answer any questions anybody might have.
I just have one question. Can you make sure this is sent out to emails, board members' emails?
Sure.
I don't think you didn't send it already, did you?
No.
Okay, it'd be easier for me if we can
print
send it off, so that way we can just have both electronic and physical.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Moving along, we have item number 3, proposed expenditures over $2,500. Mick?
Happy to answer any questions anybody might have.
Seeing none, thank you. Item number 4, report on requests under the Freedom of Information Act and status of such requests. Dr. Karat?
Thank you, Dr. Wilson. Since our board meeting on July 1st, we have received 2 new requests. That's Freedom of Information Act request. Pending status, there were 0 that were pending and are currently open. So to date, we have received, that's of January 1st, we have received 35 requests for the 25 calendar school year at a cost of $1,750. Thank you.
Thank you. And we are now at the consent agenda. Vice President McConnell?
Consent agenda reading as following. Beck Tech, that's item number 5. I'm sorry. Item number 1, gifts to school, payment of bills, payment for travel. Item number 4, human resource report that was provided.
She said we got to read the number. So I think you
Okay,
said
yeah,
that.
I did read the number.
Payment of bills. You kind of said payment of bills, payment for travel.
Okay, I'm gonna start over, Greg. Item number 1, gifts to school. Item number 2, payment of bills. Item number 3, payment for travel. Item number 4, human resource report. Item number 5, Beck Tech Evolve Express Expedite. Item number 6, approval of the school improvement plans 2025-26. Item number 7, contract for children's home therapists to provide therapeutic services. Item number 8, Family Core contract, a approval for counseling services. Item number 9, approval of the Elite contract to provide the Game Changers behavior program. And item number 10, agreement with the Elite community outreach, behavior and school culture services at Lincoln Middle School. Sir President, that is the reading of our consent agenda.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there any items that board members would like to have pulled separate for a separate vote? Okay, Ms. Ross?
Dr.
Number
Wilson.
5? Ms. Costa? Okay. Ms. Christina?
Item number 9, please.
Item number 9. So I have 5 and 9. Okay. Can I get a motion in a second to approve agenda items excluding 5 and 9.
So moved.
Madam Secretary?
Mrs. Costick?
Aye.
Mr. Ivory?
Aye.
Mrs. McConnell? Aye. Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Mrs. Ross?
Aye.
Mrs. Wilson?
Aye.
President Wilson?
Aye.
7 ayes, motion carries.
And now, can I have a motion and a second? No? Okay. So we will go into discussion. We'll start with item number 5. Martha, did you want to discuss?
Yes, I was surprised to see this on the agenda because it was my understanding that we tabled this at the last meeting. And the reason for tabling was to look at other services that provided the same type of service to our district. And I'm not sure that we've done that, the due diligence in that. So just wanted to make sure that we highlighted that. That was the board's directive when we tabled this item.
Okay.
Can I say
So,
something?
Ms. Christina?
Chief Boone emailed us several pieces of information, not just on Evolve, but on the other systems that I had kind of done my own research on, and I wanted to see how they compared Evolve to OpenGate and to Extract One. Those are the other two systems that I could find a lot. And he not only sent us a document that compares Evolve to OpenGate and Extract One, but he also compared it to what we're currently using. And I'm a visual person, and so it was really nice to be able to see why Evolve stands out against those other systems and all the extra things we get with the Evolve system that we don't get with OpenGate and Extract One. So I just wanted to shout out Chief Boone for that.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Gossett?
I just want to say, I did have the very same concerns. Unfortunately, I did not receive that email in which there was a comparison done.
Did all board
Not
members
sure
receive those?
why.
I didn't.
But that was one of my major concerns, was the fact that even though I see that there is a need, there's a definite need, but without anything to compare it to, I'm kind of in the middle. I know we need the program, we need a program, but as I said, we were looking for programs that would offer the same type of service, security service, just because of the fact that we do need to keep our schools safe and in the best, most efficient, technologically manner. So I'm kind of at a crossroad because I didn't see the information, and that's definitely what I had asked for.
Yep. Chief Boone sent it yesterday to all of us in an email.
Yesterday.
I spent a bunch of time on Saturday looking up what the other equipment was, and when Chief emailed us, it was nice because he has a column with Evolve and then another column comparing it to CEIA OpenGate, and the other one's called Extract One. Those are two other major companies that are similar to Evolve, and he goes through with the checklist on the things that the other ones provide compared to what Evolve provides, and it makes Evolve look like the leader of the group. And then he also added in the Garrett, which is what we currently use, which is not the AI equipment. And it also looked like a loser in the group. But it looks like he sent it to the full board yesterday.
Yeah.
Yep. So, Disciple,
may I
can you pull it up?
No, we don't need to do that.
He sent it to, yeah.
So,
We're not asking for it to be pulled up.
But it was sent to the board, and so he can easily go
But
through
with
it.
Dr. Karat, we're not asking for that. That's fine. He can send that. Like she said, that was sent Friday at 3:00. Respectfully, that's why we probably should have waited before this came to us, to give us time. We all have primary jobs, weekends, and some other things. And so with that, I think if anybody else doesn't have any more observation, we should probably vote on it.
Can I add something?
Sure.
Because I just feel like safety is a priority, and to
It
me,
is.
it's the most important priority. And so I was just going through and doing some simple math, and my numbers for the contract are accurate because they told us it would be $161,462 for the first year, And then for the following 3 years, it's $108,776. So adding those together, for 4 years, it's $487,790. Okay, so I was dividing that by 4 to make an average. So it's $121,947.50 per year average. Then I went and looked at the number of students we have in each high school. Richwoods, this is on our district website, so this year we might have less students, we might have more students, but it's just an average. Richwoods, we have 1,576 on the website. Manual, 713. Central, 1,483 students, totaling 3,777 students. So if we take $121,947.50 per year average divided by the 3,772, it's $32.33 per student to not have a gun to go into the school. And when you look at it like that we're going to spend $32.33 to make sure that guns aren't getting into school with our babies. And I know that my substitute students are not my babies, but I love them just the same. I just love not doing their laundry. I look at this and it's a no-brainer. And I was looking online all day Saturday. I didn't hang out with my family. I was digging all over the internet and found these other companies. So when Chief Boone sent that yesterday, I'm like, oh, cool. He's already done the homework and compared it and put it into an Excel spreadsheet with. So, and he also included some articles that I couldn't find comparing it to other school districts, saying that the Evolve equipment caught guns in North Carolina schools. Quad Cities, I think, was on there, which is in Illinois. He listed, I believe, 4 or 5 newspaper article links. Like, it was a really good email. I sent him a thank you, and I had seen some of it already online, but I mean, you guys, $32.33 a kid.
Yeah, thanks.
It's like going to McDonald's, you know? I just wanted to throw that out there.
Thank you. Any other discussion on item number 5?
I will just make this comment. You know, God sees all, knows all, and therefore he's able to make the right decisions. Unfortunately, some people are privy to information I'm not privy to. And therefore my unwillingness to vote on this is due to the fact that I am not privy to the data that's here. So I won't be voting for it because I didn't have time. It would probably be wise to pull this off the agenda until we have a decision to be made where we all have the information. But I don't have the information that Rose, you have. Now, it was sent, I understand that. But most people know me, know that my schedule is pretty tight and pretty extensive at most times, so I didn't see it. And I believe I have complete confidence in our superintendent because of the respect that I have for her. And I'm sure she wouldn't bring something before this board that was not appropriate from her perspective. But from as my responsibility goes and my fiduciary responsibility, I'm responsible for my decision. I have to answer to my own decisions that I make. And there's an unwillingness for me to vote for this at this time because I don't have the other data that some other people have. I'd be more than happy to review it and at some point in time render a real decision, but I have a degree of unreadiness on this decision at this point.
Thank you, Dr. Ivory.
Okay. No, I was just going to say that, you know, we basically need to, we're board members. We're not staff. We don't get paid. So I think the effort needs to be made to make sure that we have the information we need, or if there's additional information, we have the information we need to make an informed decisions. For instance, another item on here is the school improvement plan. Did those get sent out to us? The school improvement plan, but we are always asked to vote on something without the proper information. But at any rate,
was the school improvement plan sent to them?
We can call for a vote
sure
on
it
this.
was.
It was, right?
If it was sent to the board,
Yeah.
I
Ms.
forwarded
Costa?
on to the additional email addresses that the board members have.
Ms. Costa?
I just wanted to say, because of the fact that at our last board meeting, I did bring up the fact of, you know, things that we could look at. And because of the fact that I did not receive the information on the comparison, I, like Mr. Ivory, do not feel in good faith that I can vote on this positively without looking at other data.
So do we need a motion to table or a motion to?
Motion to vote. We need a motion to vote yes or either no.
So moved to vote to
Well,
approve.
someone would have to make a motion.
Right,
I
so-
mean, Martha, you pulled the item. Was there?
Yeah, you can make a vote. She made the motion.
I motion to approve the Evolve purchase.
Once you make this motion, that's not clear, but once you make this motion, that motion's going to, votes to pass. I've asked you to table it so I can see it, but if you do that, I'm going to vote against it. I
Well,
wanna be
that's
clear on
fine.
that.
Yeah.
Dr.
that's
Crott, do we have
understood.
time to wait if we table it? Is it appropriate to table it?
It can
We already
it can be
tabled it.
tabled. The information, just for the record, was sent. When was that sent? On Friday?
She said
Did you
she got
send it on
yesterday.
Friday? And the school improvement information was sent as well. So I'm okay with having it tabled, but I think I've done what I had to do, so I'm good with whatever decision the board
No,
makes.
we're just gonna vote yes.
Director Boone, when was that sent? Friday. Friday.
Friday
So
afternoon.
we got that. So there is a
Sorry, I
motion.
responded yesterday. I'm sorry, you did send it earlier, Chief Boone.
There is a motion on the floor to approve item number 5. That's the only motion that I've heard. so
Can I
far.
make one more comment?
No, there's a motion.
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. I'm just going to comment, not, this isn't a motion. I would really like to have either Dr. Crott or Chief Boone confirm that the SROs and the principals and the teachers, they're all asking the board for this. Is that correct? My understanding correct?
No. It's the motion.
Mr. Robeson, principal of Richwoods, Mr. McGinnis, Peoria High, and Dr. Hawks, yes. And actually, it was parked on the side, and they came back to us and said, hey, let's make sure we have a conversation and get this approved so that it can be implemented for the school year.
So there's a motion on the floor,
And I'll second it.
seconded
And we
by
have a vote.
Martha. Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll? Motion to approve, correct.
It's either aye or either no.
Mrs. Costick? Mr. Ivory?
No.
Mrs. McConnell?
No.
Mrs. Rose?
Yes.
Mrs. Ross?
No.
Mrs. Wilson?
Yes.
President Wilson?
Yes.
We have 3 ayes, 4 nays. The motion fails.
Thank you. Moving along, we have item number 9. This was pulled by
Yes,
Christina
me.
Rose.
Thank you.
Discussion.
Yeah. So in order to make the point that I would like to make, I just have to backtrack a little and talk about some items we approved. So I received our board packet for this meeting over the weekend, and then I compared it to the board packet from last year, because that's the only other one I have to compare it to, since I'm new-ish. And in 2024, for Family Core, they had 24 full-time people with one-year contracts for a total of $1,248,000, which was $52,000 per person. In 2025, they went down to 20 full-time people at one-year contracts for, we decreased the amount, $1,081,600, even though it's $54,000 per person. So the price per person did go up, but the full contract amount went down significantly. Children's Home, same thing. They had 4 full-time therapists at $62,330 per therapist, for a total cost of $249,320 in 2024. In 2025, they went down to 2 full-time and 1 part-time. The therapist got the exact same rate, $62,330 per therapist, for a total cost, again, significantly cheaper, $155,825.10. So now we look at the Elite Game Changers contract compared from last year to this year. In 2024, they serviced 50 students at $550,000. Plus, in addition to that $550,000, we pay for 1 certified teacher and a certified sub, and they had to pay for their location, and they pay for meals. This year, in 2025, they will still have 50 students. They want $600,000. There was nothing in our board packet. Last year, we had their contract. We had a breakdown of the salaries and the benefits and all. Like, I understood where the money I was being asked to vote on was going last year. This year, I have nothing, and I've asked for it from multiple people. And in addition to no explanation for the increase or any information to answer questions like Mr. Thomas and Mr. Shannon asked, they have a new location. They will be housed in our building, which saves them a cost. They could use our school lunches, which would save them a cost. And so when none of our other organizations that support our students you don't even have those costs. They don't need a building. They don't have to pay for any of those things. They don't need a teacher. They aren't asking for any additional supports financially, and they're not asking for an increase. And I just don't understand why Elite is asking for an increase. So I will not be supporting $600,000, but would be willing to consider a lesser amount.
Thank you. Additional feedback on item number 9?
I was wondering, when we get the packet, you said there will be a packet this Friday that we're provided with. I'm assuming it would include that information. I haven't gotten anything either, and I feel uncomfortable voting on $600,000 with no explanation to where it's going. But I'm also interested if anybody knows if it exists, some data on how this. I know this program's been around for a while, and do they have any follow-ups on the kids? How they've done with it, what they're doing now? Didn't it start in 2011?
2022.
Yeah, usually we have a presentation when when Family Court, Children's Home, and Elite, contracts come up. But I don't see that on this particular agenda. But you said Friday something was going to be sent out.
We do have representative here that can answer any questions.
I guess what I was going to say is, do you know if any of that information is included where it would say, like, a student that went through Elite is now 8 years out and doing great in the world as an electrician, or
yes, we
maybe
do.
they're running
Yes,
the machine
we
that Charlie
do.
was
We
using.
have
I mean,
that
do we have, I thought it started a long time before 2022.
Not before the contract, but I think we need to understand something. First of all, to address several things, and I do understand that social media is a great tool. People like to share their feedback on, and that's great. And for those of you who follow Facebook like that, and you can gather data, that's okay. Any concerns or questions anybody has, if they want a real answer, you can always email us or either the superintendent. If board member Rose said that she asked for the information, and we have that information. The superintendent has it, Dr. Ike has it, and that should have been a question asked and a question answered. Mm-hmm. And then lastly, when we talk about the lead, and we like to throw numbers and we're doing these calculations, it's not just $600,000 divided by a flat 50 students. That is it is a flat 50 perpetual. So they always have 50 students. So in the course of a year, they could have served 200 students. So it's not that basic to say they're only serving 50 students. Secondly, to my last point, they follow through with those students. So students who go to Game Changers have multi-layered issues. And that takes a special person, a special effort to be able to manage those. And 80% of the kids who come out of there behave better. They make contact with the Game Changer staff, and they follow up with them once they go back in the building. They give them support throughout the calendar year. So let's not minimize it and say that we're dividing $600,000 by 50 students, because that is not accurate. It is a perpetual. At a minimum, they have 50 students. Sometimes it even overlaps. They provide a lot of things, and perhaps in the superintendent's report, it could have been stated that they are going to utilize district space, and that will allot some of the money that was spent on the food and on leasing. They can now service more students with their interventions. And so for dollars and cents, it makes sense. And so with that, thank you.
Thank you.
And that information is available for the history.
That's what I was going to ask you.
You can ask
where
the
you get the
superintendent.
80%. I would love to see what the numbers are.
You can ask the superintendent for that information. And then also, I encourage you, when the school starts, go in. I've been in and out of their program. I know students who are impacted by that, and we utilize them a lot. And once you serve on the discipline committee, you will see that many of our kids are held in abeyance, and they get to stay in school because they get to go to Game Changers rather than sitting home and not learning and not doing anything. So
yeah.
I don't have any information. I did ask them so as I said, on Friday.
last year's information.
They're going to submit some information that we've had. Dr. Ike, do you have any information?
He has a contract and all the information.
I'll make this quick comment, is that I'm gonna be consistent in my approach, is that I think our board member has a legitimate question. She wants to know the numbers. And I think I think every decision we make needs to be made thoroughly and understood. If people need to know numbers in order to be comfortable, then they ought to be comfortable based upon the data. I would, again, consistently be consistent in my approach in terms of what I do as a person on this particular board, is to be consistent. And if I don't have the information, if you don't have the information, you ought not to vote for it. I don't have the information either. I respect Elite's program and all the wonderful work they do, but I don't have the data either, quite frankly. So, I mean, I'm not gonna vote for it. And being consistent with what I do, I mean, once I get the data, and I'm sure that Sherry Cannon and others who are here, who I have a great deal of respect for, will share it with me, and then I can be as comfortable as I would about anything else. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ivory. Ms. Christina Rose.
Yeah, sorry. I was so upset by our previous vote that I was shaking, and I think I left out that I am not against the Game Changers program. I'm grateful to Game Changers and Elite for the services they provide, not only at Lincoln, at our other buildings in the past, and this current program that our students do benefit from. I'm not against the Game Changers program. I'm simply against giving them more money without an explanation. So I just wanted to clarify that I am grateful to Elite and Game Changers for all the previous things they've done with our students and what they're currently doing and what they will continue to do. So I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on item number 9? Seeing none, I would need a motion.
I would like to motion to amend the agreement to $550,000, which was last year's previous amount.
No, we're gonna vote on the item, and we're not gonna amend that as it stands.
She can make a motion,
Yeah.
and if there's a second, then that's the motion on the floor.
So I'm motioning to amend the approval for $550,000 like last year.
Needs a second.
And that means we would be voting on it today for 500,000?
$550,000.
I guess my question is, if they're not paying for rental or catered food, wouldn't it be lower than that?
They are
Like, what
getting
about 500,000?
additional services. They are able to meet the needs that in the contract you want to come and speak? Yeah, thank you.
Is it appropriate for her to speak now?
Well,
No,
no,
it's too late.
No, it isn't. Hold on. I think we need to just,
She wouldn't let Chief
Mr.
Boone.
Stop.
We're gonna do.
I've been in board meetings with this.
He needs to stop yelling from the gallery.
We're gonna do point of order. Ms. Sherry, if you can, just take a seat for me real quick, please. There's a motion on the floor. Now, that motion needs to have a second. We got into some discussion. Do you want to pull back that motion, and then do we want to hear from the Elite individuals that are here?
I just don't think it's not that I don't want to hear from them. I do want to hear from
So
them
we got a
in
motion.
Friday.
So if
Okay.
it has a second, then we can vote on it. Do
Does
you
that
wanna
mean we have
pull it?
another
Because-
discussion if I say second and
Well,
we discuss it again?
No, we're just gonna
then it
vote
would
no on the motion.
So I would pull that motion.
Okay.
You have questions.
Okay. I'm going to
right?
pull my motion so Brenda can continue discussion. Is
Ms.
that
Brenda?
appropriate?
We didn't get any information and they weren't on the, I've come to the meeting, so I've
Mm-hmm.
seen their, Carl's done, I mean, I've seen him outside of this building doing, I love the story, I love what it stands for, but when you see a giant increase, because didn't it go up 50,000 last year also? Wasn't it 500,000 and then last year it increased to 550?
No, it
And now it's
wasn't.
up to 600? It's like you want to know what is the increase? I mean, I was a substitute teacher for over 10 years
Now-
before I got a raise.
and-
And it was
and-
from $75 up to $135,
Yep,
right? I mean,
yep.
Usually there's something that builds, so I'm wondering, what is the extra 50K if we don't pay overhead for the Dream Center anymore and there's no catered food? I'm assuming those together are like over $100,000.
Yeah, appreciate
So I'm
that.
saying, what about we go 500?
Perfect segue. Well,
We got a
I'm gonna let Elite now talk because you asked where's that 50K. So who better to explain it than those that went
So
through?
I just want to say
process.
this because
Ms.
it
Sherry,
feels
if
like our
you can,
meeting's out
please.
of order and it feels very unprofessional that we had people sitting here that didn't feel like they were educated enough to vote on Evolve. And we have a regional manager, a local manager, and our chief right there to ask questions to, and they did a presentation and we still didn't have enough information to vote. I'm just saying.
I mean, that
It
was the
feels-
last agenda item, though.
Okay, sure.
You know,
Okay.
Yeah,
we're
we had
moving
enough
on.
information.
Ms. Sherry, there was a question posed regarding the 50K increase, if you can explain that.
Can I give some historical context, please? I won't go over
Please.
5 minutes, but I think it's important that, that you hear this. Elite started probably before everybody except Ms. Ross was on the board of directors in 2005 as a volunteer program for high school students. And Peoria Park District covered the expense because Carl Cannon worked at Peoria Park District. In 2011, we were invited by Superintendent Latham to ask us to come into Treewind Middle School because they wanted to know if we could help kids earlier, like we were doing in the high schools, improving their grades, their attendance, and their behavior. So that was our first middle school where we came in as compliance officers. Since then, we've been in Harrison, Glen Oak, Sterling, Von Steuben, Lincoln, Manual Junior High, and both Quest Middle and High School. In 2017, Jahan Gordon Booth asked Carl and I to come to her office and said, I've been watching what Elite has been doing. I want to give you some more money so that you can have a greater impact on our students. At that time, we still worked under the Peoria Park District. We started out doing the Safe School concept as part of Peoria Park District. It cost the Peoria Public Schools no money. Up to this point, the only thing you were paying for was the separate contract with the compliance officers in your schools every day. Those compliance officers never made over $15 an hour until they left and they came under us. But they were used as independent contractors. They were only paid for the days they were in schools, and they were unable to get unemployment during the summertime. So in 2017, 2018, when Dr. Gordon Booth, Representative Gordon Booth, gave us some additional funding, and we started the Safe School concept, but it wasn't called that. And we was doing it in Peoria Park District's locations. Then the pandemic happened, and we were out of school for months. And then in 2020, we were asked by the existing superintendent, could you help us find some of our students? They're not getting online, and they're losing out on instruction time. Our men and women went out, located students, found out some of them had moved away, and then we started providing a space where they could get online and getting their homework and staying caught up. In 2021, we continued doing that because after they went back to school, they was having some struggles, so kids were getting in trouble. So they asked us, can you continue supplying that need, which is what we did. 2022, Carl Cannon retired from Peoria Public School, Peoria Park District, and decided to incorporate Elite as Elite Community Outreach Incorporated. And at that point, we got a contract from ICEJA for $500,000 and came to the district and said, we'd like to provide a safe school, and we got a contract where we did this same concept for no more than 50 students at a time. What you were paying was not what it cost to provide those services. I gave Mrs. Kostick last May's payroll. That's only payroll. We have never gotten what it costs to provide this because we've always found additional monies. We've gotten it from ICEJA, we've gotten it from donations. Just the salary alone cost us more annually than the other things that it costs. I'd like to make a statement on the food. We did contract through Hy-Vee, and Hy-Vee charged us $8 a day. Hy-Vee may give them Chinese food, they may give them steak, they may give them hamburgers. It's $8 a day, regardless. They give us whatever's in their menu for the day in their little food court. So sometimes the kids do eat really well, and I'm not going to apologize for that. So the Safe School started in July of 2022. So 2022 and 2023, our contract was at $500,000. It was supplemented $500,000 by ICEJA. You have never paid what the total cost is. This year, ICEJA reduced us from $500,000 to $300,000. We still have the same expenses. However, we are saving $129,000 by going into Treewind and eating Peoria Public Schools food, which reduced our cost from what it would have been over $800 and some thousand. And so your $600,000 plus that was $800 after the $300,000 from ICEJA. We still have to come up with another almost $200,000
to make payroll and to continue this program. You're not overpaying us. We are giving you a program and you're not providing it at 100%.
Thank you. Is there any follow-up questions for Ms. Sherry?
Well, I just want to clarify again that I was not trying to suggest overpayment or underpayment. I was trying to suggest that it was not consistent with what we were seeing, and that I have worked with Elite in multiple buildings. I worked with them at Treewind and I worked with them at Quest, and I value Elite. I value the men that build relationships with our students. I've seen what they do, so I'm not anti-Elite. I just am not sure that we should increase the price.
Thank you, Ms. Sherry.
Thank you.
Yep. Can we get a motion?
I would like to make a motion to approve this contract at $550,000.
There's a motion on the floor. Now, after we do this motion, is that
Then
there's a
we can
motion
go
to
back,
approve.
no, we're either gonna vote yes or no on this, and then we're gonna, go back and somebody can make another motion as it is printed. We can deal with number 9. She's just modifying it. We can say yes or no to the modification.
I just want to be clear on the record. Member Rose, you made an adjustment. My position was that I would not support it because the sense of unreadiness and information. You now put a motion on the floor to change that. So I will not be supporting that particular motion for that reason. Thank you.
Roll call.
Okay, so Madam Secretary, can you please call the roll?
And we need to clarify what we're voting on. Clarify
There's a
what we're
motion on the
voting.
floor. It's been seconded.
Okay, I just want to point out that this is a contract that we're voting on, which requires a meeting of the minds, right? So just because, even if the board approves it at $550,000, Elite doesn't necessarily have to take it at that amount.
Yep, we
right?
understand
So just so you understand that as you're voting on this.
Okay, thank you.
So the motion on the floor is we are voting on her, please. We are voting on the reduction. So at this amendment, we are either voting yes on the reduction or either no. So the motion on the floor is as it stands for the reduction, and voting aye is for it and voting no is against her amended motion.
Which is 550,000.
Correct.
And not the 600,000.
Correct.
Is that correct? So that's what we're voting on, to amend the item, not the approval? That's what I'm asking for clarity on. Are we voting to amend it, or are we voting to approve it at the amended price?
You're voting to approve it at the amended price.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
Madam Secretary, can you please call the roll?
Mrs. Costick? They need clarity on that, Greg, and so
Go ahead.
what I was trying to say earlier is, because it's the same difference. If we're voting to approve 600,000, that's either yes. She made that a amendment and said, no, I want to recommend for this reducted amount at 550. So when we vote on the 550, if you answer aye, that means yes, we're going to reduce it. Then her motion fails. Then we can go back.
Yeah, her motion would pass.
No, I'm saying if we vote no as a board.
Can we
on
let the
reduction-
attorney provide guidance? That's why we have attorneys here.
Dr. Karat, I am clear. All I'm doing is clarifying for the board.
It's
We are
confusing.
voting, Dr. Karat, please stop. What we're doing is either voting on the amendment, and we're saying yes or either no on the amendment.
Yeah.
Then what are we doing, Jennifer?
Please advise, Jennifer.
Yes, so the motion currently on the floor is you're going to be taking a vote to approve the Elite contract to provide the Game Changer Behavior Program as amended at a cost of $550,000 per year. That is what you're voting on.
Yeah.
Are we-
Yes.
What happens
At
if
550?
when we vote, it doesn't pass? Then will we get to approve it again?
Then you can make a motion to approve it
At the 600,000.
$600,000.
That was what I was saying.
Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Costick? Mr. Ivory?
No.
Mrs. McConnell?
No.
Mrs. Rose?
Yes.
Mrs. Ross?
No.
Mrs. Wilson?
Aye.
President Wilson?
No.
We have 2 ayes and 5 nays. The motion fails.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Is there another motion on the floor?
Yes, Sir Chair, I would like to offer a motion for us to approve number 9, the elite contract at $600,000.
Is there a second? Thank you. Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Costick? Mr. Ivory?
I'm abstaining.
Yeah, that's fine. You don't have to explain. You can just say, yeah, abstain, and then we keep it rolling. Mrs. McConnell? Aye. Mrs. Rose?
No.
Mrs. Ross?
Yes, aye.
Mrs. Wilson?
Abstain.
President Wilson?
Aye.
We have 4 ayes. Motion carries.
Thank you. And we are moving
Can I ask a
forward to
question?
the deliberation agenda.
Am I allowed to ask a question?
Can it be on their presentations and suggestions by board members? Thank you. Deliberation agenda, seeing none. Presentation and suggestions by board members.
Okay, well, I.
Oh, and is it an announcement?
Well, it's, okay.
We're announcing at the time for that, for the presentation or suggestion by board members.
Okay. I guess my question, it's not really a question. I'd just like to point out that we didn't seem to have the money for the Evolve system that comes down to $32 a day for a student to keep our kids safe. And the 3 people who approved it have kids in our schools. And the people who didn't approve it, their own children, not necessarily grandchildren or cousins or whatever, but their children are done at our schools. And then we can give Elite more money for 50 kids. And I know that the 50 kids fluctuates, so it could be 200 or 300 kids, but thousands of high schoolers. And you saw the pictures last board meeting of all the things that Chief Boone's team has found in our high schools just this last year. That wasn't even a fraction of it. And we couldn't be, where was the money for that? So that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you. Presentation and suggestions by board members. Anyone else? Seeing none. Reports from board committees.
The policy committee is working on a date for next week, and we will give that update with you, Cammie.
Janelle wanted me to share dates for back to school backpack events. Let me know when the right time to do that is.
Presentation and suggestions.
She just told me I
buildings,
couldn't.
no. Buildings. Buildings and grounds. Yeah.
We don't have a meeting set yet.
Procurement.
Will be setting the meeting up, and we will let everybody know when the meeting is scheduled.
Okay, cool, thank you. And with that said, I'll move to adjourn at 8:23 p.m.
So moved.